friends. Today we're going to be working on the hips and the core, doing a movement called a hip bridge, really basic. What we're going to do is we're going to lay on the floor. Your feet are going to be medium stance. Medium stance is heels underneath the butt bones or your hip sockets. Please put your feet parallel to each other and not turned out. You start off by lifting the hips, pelvic tilt the hips. Try not to arch the back. Pelvic tilt the hips. You stop at the top. Feel your feet flat on the floor. Put a little bit more pressure into the heels. Go down, touch the floor, lift the buns. We're going to keep going. I'm going to talk as we go. Some important things to make this more effective. You want to drive your feet down through the floor as you lift the hips. That's going to flex your glutes, your butt muscles. You can additionally flex your butt muscles, pinch them together, do whatever you have to clench them. So those two things, driving the feet down and clenching the butt. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and if we hold at the top, we can bring the knees out and bring the knees in. So you're bringing the knees wide and bringing the knees narrow to touch. Wide and narrow. Try not to let the hips drop when you do this because it makes it easier. If you keep your hips high at a level, it's going to make it harder on the buns. You're going to start to feel your butt muscles get fatigued and burn. You might also feel your lower back because this works the back core. Let's go 3 more. Keep those hips high. Try and keep your toes all down, the big toe. Don't let it come up when the knees go wide because that will also work the arch of your foot, which is really juicy, really important. Okay, stay wide with the knees, go down and up. You are sort of on the outside line of your feet. You're pushing down the heels, but you're grabbing with the big toe. That's working the arch as well, like I said. And when you go out with the knees, that wide knee is going to get the outer edge of the butt. Stop at the top, come back to medium stance with the knees. Drive the right hip up, left hip up. I'm driving to my right foot to get the right hip up, left foot to get the left hip up. Right foot goes down, right hip goes up. So driving that foot is going to intensify the work and give you more results in the same amount of time. It's being efficient. The buns are burning, your lower back might be burning. Stop in the center, come on down, rest, bring the knees up and circle the knees. So this thing I'm doing with the circling of the knees, that's called a flush. That renews those tissues. It pushes out the acids and brings in the oxygen and the nutrients and the heat and the fluids and renews it. And it's going to help you not only vitalize and keep the tissues healthy, but keep you from getting as sore. Now I want to go over one more thing with the hip bridge. There's so many different ways we can do the hip bridge. This is the basic. Go back to medium stance, and what I'd like you to do is come up to the top, pelvic tilt the hips, and put your feet both flat on the ground. Feel your feet flat on the ground. Bring your awareness to your feet. Now bring your emphasis and your pressure to the both heels of your feet and just unweight the balls and the toes. So your feet are still flat if I would look at them, but you're bringing the pressure to the heels, okay? Now notice your left heel versus your right heel. Are they equal? Are they equally weighted? Often they're not, okay? Depending on our patterns, our movement patterns, we may be sitting more on one foot than the other. So I want you to equalize that. Bring your brain awareness. This is really good exercise for your neurology. Now do the opposite. Go ahead and go to the balls and the toes. Now my heels are still touching, but I'm bringing the awareness and the pressure and the emphasis to the balls. Is the left ball of my foot the same pressure as the right? It's not for me. So I don't know how it is for you, but bring that awareness and make it equal. Notice what it does to the legs. Where do you feel it now to bring the pressure to the balls of the feet? Bring it back to the heels. Does that change where you feel it in the legs or the butt? The butt is burning because this is an isometric. Just to hold this is called an isometric. We hold one position. Okay, now what I want you to do, equalize the weight, bring the pressure to the outside line of each foot. My feet are still flat, but I'm bringing with my big toes, but the weight is mostly on the outside line. What does that do for your leg? What does it do for your butt? Now do the opposite. Bring the pressure to the inside line, the arch line, the big toe back to the heel, right through the arch. Keep both feet pushing. Is your left foot still pushing as much as your right? Stay at the top of the range. Can you feel the burn in your butt? This is called an isometric hip bridge. Now go flat-footed. Try and make the whole foot pushing and on both sides, and just notice what that does. Now go ahead and put more of your weight on your left leg, okay, left leg. Like almost try to take the weight off of your right leg, okay? So you've got maybe 70% on the left, almost 30% on the right. Now switch, right leg, take most of the weight off of your left, the whole foot's flat. Notice what that does. Go back to the left leg. See, we're not doing much movement here, right? We're doing an isometric. Now go back to the right leg. Notice what this is doing at your lower back. This is working your rotational core. Go back to both legs. Now squeeze your butt, tuck your hips, drive your feet. Hold for 5 more seconds. This is a hip bridge, so good for the back, so good for the butt. And come on down. Bring the knees up and flush it out. You guys did so good. We're going to be putting these together into combinations now on how you can take the little movements that I'm teaching you and then put them together into little routines. You're awesome.